It's so great to be moving with you. There was some technical difficulty, and since it was such at the start of class, I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't happen again, and we're going to start all over. So with our feet straight, our ankles under our knees, let's tuck and untuck our pelvis. Now there are multiple ways to do this. One is to let your spine go back and forward, but when your spine goes back and forward, sometimes it's challenging to tell, are you really moving predominantly from your pelvis? So can you keep your spine upright and just tuck and untuck your pelvis? And when you untuck, ground through your feet and feel like your legs are gently but actively pulling in to help your pelvis stay upright. So straight up and down spine as you tuck and untuck, tuning into your breath. And a few more like that. And then next time you untuck, extend your right leg long, actively flex your ankle and hinge forward, keeping a flat back. So try to rotate your pelvis as much as you can. Your hand can come onto your thigh or your shin. And then let's switch legs. Right ankle under the knee, left leg extends. Feel your pelvis rotate rather than your spine round as you hinge forward. Relax any clenching around your thigh muscles. And then come up and stretch both legs long, and not only notice the flexion of your ankles, but notice if your ankles tend to turn slightly in or slightly out, and rotate so the sole of the foot is straight away from you as you rotate forward from the pelvis. And sometimes I go in and I start rotating from my spine, so I have to back up a little bit and re-tilt the pelvis. All right, come on up with your legs nice and straight. We're going to do one arm first dynamically. Right arm goes up and over side bend and back out to the side. Feeling into the sides of your shoulder, your rib cage, your waist, your hip. And then let's do the other arm. And then let's go side to side. Right arm and then left arm. Feel the extension of the fingers, the shoulder. And then one more each side. Oh, and then release, bend your knees, spin around to a lunge, slide your left knee right underneath your hip, tuck your toes under if that's comfortable for you, activate your back foot, activate your front foot a little bit, reach your left arm out to the side with your palm face down, flip your wrist down and up, relax any clenching around your hip and thigh. So as we move our wrists, we're also trying to allow that left hip to release and relax. Okay, now flip your hand over so your palm is up and flip your wrist down and up. Thumb spreads out to the side. And then release that hand down, slide your back leg forward and spin around to the other side. Knee back under the hip, toes tuck under, activate the back foot, activate the front foot, reach your right arm out to the side, palm face down and flip your wrist down and up, gently spreading your thumb out. And then flip your wrist up and we'll do the same thing. Upper arm bone stays steady. Relax, clenching around the thigh and the hip. And then release that arm and let's spin around. One more time on each side. Slide your right knee back, right under your hip or your left knee. And then from there, ribs relax down as you hinge back. Feel the front of the thigh and the hip, relaxing the back of the leg, and come upright. And we'll hinge back and upright and hinge back and upright and hinge back and hold. Trying to line up the knee right under the hip rather than the knee going forward. Activate your feet gently. I got a little shaking going on from within today. And then bring your torso upright and spin around to your lunge on the other side. Knee back under the hip. Activate your feet and hinge back and come upright. Hinge back and upright. Hinge back and upright. And hinge back and hold. Watch as the knees going forward. Try to slide back. Breathing here. All right, come on up. Slide that leg forward. Spin back around to the front of the chair. So try to keep your pelvis as upright as possible as you lift your right knee up and lower down. Lift your left knee up, keeping your ankle right under the knee, lower down. Small increments. Walk out a tiny bit wider, pelvis upright. You can even put your hands here for feedback. Lift and lift, trying not to rock back at all. And feet a tiny bit wider. Lift and lift. You might even feel your core muscles firing. And how about one wider? Feet a little wider. Lift and lower, and lift and lower. Keeping the inner thighs open, circle your arms up and down. Feeling your upper back muscles, feeling your chest muscles, feeling from your shoulders to your fingers, and being present with your breath. How easily the mind wanders. That's one of the reasons I keep encouraging you to come back to feeling your body, come back to checking your pelvis, come back to checking your rib cage. Next time your arms are in the air, reach up more through the sides of your body than just through your shoulders. And then from there, let your thighs roll in and roll open. Open your arms a little bit wider, thighs roll in and roll open. Arms a little lower, reaching out, thighs roll in and roll open, and a little bit lower, and thighs roll in and thighs roll open. And then keep your thighs rolling in and circle your arms up and down. So if your thighs drop in very easily, press down through the sole of the foot gently as your thigh drops in. Keep working on tilting your pelvis upright gently. If your thighs do not roll in easily, if they keep separating from each other, let the outer edges of your feet come up. And tuning into your breath here. Sometimes a movement will give you a clue as to what is going on in your body. So you might, like in this stretch, you might feel on one side, ooh, my outer hip, or the front of the thigh, my quadricep, or my inner thigh feels tighter on one side. So it gives you an area of your body for you to give more focus on as you go throughout class and move. And maybe that you take something that feels good for that area and do it more often throughout your week. All right, from there, let your arms come down, let your thighs open up, and then we're going to walk our feet in, extend our legs long again, bring our elbows by our sides, and open your forearms up and bring them in. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down and back, head ramps back. And it's a small motion. You're not trying to force when your arms go back. You're not trying to push your chest forward. Just feeling around all the little muscles around your shoulder girdle. Okay, next time your arms pull out, hold And turn your head to the right, chin parallel with the floor, and over to the left. And head turns to the right and to the left. Keep opening the arms gently, turning the neck to the right and turning the neck to the left and turning the neck to the right and turning the neck to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands in and open. Hands shoulder distance and stretch out. Okay, next time your arms open out to the side, hold, check the tilt of your pelvis, the tilt of your rib cage, and right ear to right shoulder, and come up, left ear to left shoulder, and come up, elbows by your sides. And we're going to go 2 more each side. Bring your head back up and forearms moving. Relax any clenching around your shoulders from your fingers to your elbows. And next time you open, hold, just tuck your chin in towards your throat. Let your head tip forward just a little bit, feeling where the base of your skull meets your spine. And then go ahead and keep letting your head roll down. Feeling that sensation maybe travel down your back into your shoulder blades. Open those arms by your sides a little bit more. And then lift your head up, release your arms down, bend your knees. So for this one, you'll want to put your forearms down on your legs. If that's not happening, you can do this some other time with your arms on the table and hanging off the edge of the table so your hands are hanging off. Create a fist with your hands, your elbows and forearms stay grounded, and tilt your wrist up and relax. Tilt up and relax. Tilt up and relax and tilt up and hold. And you're gently pulling your fist back towards you. Same thing here. You might notice, wow, my left side is tighter than my right side, or my right side feels tighter than my left side. You don't have to figure out the puzzle of why. Just being aware is the first step to create so much change in your body for the better, to balance yourself. Okay, let's switch. Let's put our forearms so the back of our forearms are down and our palms are face up. Little fist, and curl up and relax. Curl up and relax. Curl up and relax. And curl up and hold. Pulling your fists back towards you. Breathing here, feeling your forearms, feeling your hands. All right, come on up. Extend your right leg long. Hinge forward with a flat back. For our first angle with our toes up, we're going to move our ankle around. So point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. Now try to keep your thigh bone steady as you twist your ankle side to side. Slower at first, and then you can go a little faster as you see and feel that your thigh is staying steady. All right, and then from there, internally rotate your thigh bone so your knees and toes turn in, and hinge further forward over your legs with a long spine. Letting your lower belly relax, feeling your leg muscles relax. And come up and rotate your thigh bone out. Gently flex your ankle, untwist if it tends to twist to one side, and hinge forward with a flat back here. Lengthening the thigh bone, actively flexing the ankle, actively rotating the pelvis, but letting everything in between relax as much as possible. And come on up and switch legs. Extend your left leg long, tilt forward a bit, and point, flex, point, and flex, point, and flex, and point. Feel all 5 toes, the whole ball of the foot, and flex. And then actively flex as you twist your ankle side to side, noticing if the twist of your ankle turns your thigh bone. Eventually you're trying to be able to move your ankle without your thigh bone going along. And then find that center spot and internally rotate your thigh bone and actively flex your ankle as you hinge forward, rotating from your pelvis. Seeing if your leg can relax and straighten a little bit more. And come up slightly and rotate in the other direction. Actively flex your ankle and hinge forward there. And come on up and bend the knee. All right, so we're gonna do our number 4 stretch. You can use a block inside your left foot, or you can cross your right ankle over your left knee. I feel like lately I've been doing my knee and the block at the highest height, so I'm gonna do the second highest height today. You can do whatever you choose. Tilt your pelvis upright. You're going to reach, let's do opposite arm. So right leg is dropping out, left arm reaches up into the air and lengthens, tilting the pelvis upright. Rotate your thigh bone or your arm bone all the way one way. Rotate your arm bone the other way. Reach your hand across so it's like in the center of your body. Rotate from the upper arm bone and rotate the other way. Reach your hand so it's like going over in front of your right shoulder. Rotate and rotate, and then reach your arm down so it's going across in front of your right shoulder. Rotate and rotate, and then open that arm up to your side and hinge forward over your hips any amount. And keep in mind, we're training our brains to connect differently to our bodies. And so we don't want to think that we're getting more benefit if we're crossing our ankle over our knee. We're getting more benefit the more often we change the angle and use our hip muscles in different ways. Yes, it's wonderful if you can cross your ankle over your knee and keep your pelvis upright, and that's a great place to work towards. But after you've gotten there, you definitely don't want to be there all the time. Okay, come on up and switch. And tilt your pelvis upright, gently flex your ankle. It's your right arm that goes up in the air. Rotate your arm bone all the way one way, all the way the other way. Reach the arm about the center stripe of your body. Rotate and rotate. Reach across in front of your left shoulder. Rotate and rotate. And then reach it down across in front of your shoulder again. Rotate all the way one way and rotate all the way the other way. And then open that arm up and hinge forward from your hips. Same thing here. If you tend to fold forward and your spine does one of these, can you start folding forward more with a flat back? That's how you know your pelvis is rotating. Then from there, once you've gotten there, sometimes you can play with, sure, letting your spine round a little bit, but we often need more work at our pelvis and less load on our spine rounding forward. Take another breath or two here. All right, come on up and release. Let's go around for a lunge and a lunge with a quad stretch. So you're welcome to use your strap. Wrap it around your ankle, slide your knee back, flex your ankle, and lift it up any amount. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down, head ramping back, hand holding so your thumb is pointing forward, your elbow is pointing back, maybe even hugging your elbow in. As you lift your leg a little higher, you can bend your elbow and hug it back, so then your quad stretch turned into a quad stretch with a shoulder stretch. And release, and spin around to the other side. So wrapping around your ankle, slide your knee back, pelvis upright, ribs relax down, ramping the head back, lift any amount, elbow bends, no matter how bent it is, hug it in, and breathing here, relaxing, clenching. Ground through your front foot, but you can definitely be using your hand to stabilize yourself on the chair a little bit. How about returning to your breath for the last moment or two? All right, release that leg and spin back around to the front of your chair. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, tilting your pelvis upright, and let's go back to those side bends. So because in this class we, cross our ankles over our knee and walk our feet wide and straighten our legs, sometimes just sitting like this, like our neutral position, seems like we're not doing anything special, but the question you need to ask yourself is, how often are you sitting in this position throughout the day when you are sitting? So this position is very important to check what's going on with your body all day long when you are sitting in a chair, which hopefully you're sitting in lots of different chairs that are lots of different heights, and sometimes maybe even getting down to the floor if that's still possible for you, and sitting with some pillows and some bolsters. Okay, next time your right arm and left arm go over, we'll pause, we'll bring our hands behind our head. You can interlace, doesn't matter which way you interlace, we're just gonna do one way. You can stretch your thumbs out to the base of your skull. Make sure you have a lot of support for your head. Think of keeping your pelvis upright and just leaning back any amount, like you're looking up at the ceiling, and coming back up. And when you lean back, think of not just like bending back and coming up, but think of starting, since your pelvis is staying upright, starting above your lower back and just bending back bone by bone as your head eventually goes back a little bit, and then coming upright bone by bone and bending back bone by bone. Notice if your chin always wants to go up, that hyperextension in the neck, drop the chin down and come up bone by bone. Definitely nothing wrong with bending and lifting your chin up sometimes, but it tends to be such a strong habit in so many people, so that we need to first break the habit before we start doing it again to purposely lift our chin up. And come back upright, and one more. Bend back bone by bone without really thrusting the ribs, without thrusting the chin. And come back upright, and then open your arms wide, tilt your pelvis upright, ribs relax down, and we twist our belly button from right to left. Feel the waist twist. Tune into your breath. And sometimes if you can hear some digestion things going on, you're definitely hitting what's within your torso. Okay, one more time to the right and one more time to the left. Come back to center. Tilt your pelvis as upright as you can. Lift your right knee up. Try not to let your hips roll back at all. Keep rotating your pelvis up, and only lift your thigh as high as you can with your pelvis and spine all the way upright. How about point and flex? Point and flex. Put the foot down, pelvis upright, lift your left leg up, knee in line with hip, ankle right under the knee. Try to lift the leg higher without rocking back at all, pelvis upright, just the thigh bone goes higher. Use your arms here a little bit, relax your shoulders. And how about point and flex and point and flex, and put your foot down, feet straight, knees hip distance apart, push down to come up to stand, and come around to the back of your chair with your feet straight and your ankles hip distance apart. Walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs. Push your thigh bones back. Great time to work on straightening your legs a little more. Great time to work on neutral thigh bone with outer edges of feet straight. Back of the head ramps towards the ceiling. And as you work on neutral rotation of your thigh bones, check. Sometimes those knees will really want to soften. And then sit back into a chair squat with 2 long arms. You can still work on slightly rotating your thigh bones into neutral without your heels spinning in. It will help activate the muscles all the way around your thighs. It will help activate the muscles in your feet. Your hip rotators are directly connected to the arches of your feet. Breathing here, feeling along your spine. And then push down through your feet to come on up to stand. And you can walk up to your chair with the outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through the right hip, hug it in, tuck your left toes behind you. You can do toes tucked under, or you can do top of the foot stretch, your choice. Wherever you choose to be with your toes, we're gonna do some pelvic listing. So you're gonna let your right hip go out to the side a little, and then you're pressing down and hugging that hip in until your joints are stacked. That's where you want to be when you're standing, when you're walking on flat surface, when you're going up and down hills. You don't want your hip going out to the side. Hip going out to the side is more for when you're going down hills or downstairs. So you do want some range of motion there, but we either tend to not have the range of motion for our hip to go out, or our hip tends to go out too far too often. So pressing down, hugging in, if your hip moves easily, go slow. Your hip goes out nice and slowly, and you push down and hug in, hug in, hug in nice and slowly. Hip goes out nice and slowly, and you push down and hug in, hug in, hug in nice and slowly. Switch feet, push down through your outer left hip, hug it in, top of the foot or toes tuck under behind you. And then from there, if you are more of the camp of your hip just doesn't go out very much, you're trying to let it relax out as much as you can. And when you push down and hug in, think a lot of pushing down, like you're creating space in your ankle, space in your knee, space in your hip. And hip goes out nice and slowly. And press down and hug that hip in. Hip goes out nice and slowly. Push down and hug that hip in. And hip goes out nice and slowly. And press down and hug that hip all the way in. Okay, so now we'll do it without the kickstand behind you. So balancing on one leg, you're welcome to put a block under your foot. Of course, if you have one of these foam blocks, it's more challenging than something softer because then you have to work with the movement of the block. Just making sure your foot is straight, your ankle's up on the block, your heel's up on the block, and your hanging leg ankle is flexed. And then from there, let that hip work for you. The standing leg hip. Relax your upper body. And let's switch sides. So if you have a large range of motion, maybe you just reel it in and work in a smaller range of motion. Press down, hug that hip in. And pelvic listing on your other side. Upper body relaxes, arms relax. The standing leg straight, stays straight. No micro bend in the knee. You can always have your hand on a block or on the wall or on a chair is what I meant to say. All right, step off of there. Okay, whatever you're going to use for your calf stretch or rolled up towel, that block you were just using, a dome, put the ball of your foot up straight. Maybe your outside foot steps forward, thumbs go up into the air and back down. And arms go up and back down. And arms go up and back down. And arms go up and back down. Let's switch. Let's pigeon toe our right foot slightly. Your left foot stays forward. You can step it forward any amount. Your hips square forward. Reach your arms out to the side. Right arm goes all the way across and open up. Left arm across and open. Right arm across and open. Left arm across and open, and release your arms down and turn your foot slightly out to the side and step your foot forward any amount and circle your arms up and down and circle up and down. 2 straight legs, relax clenching. All right, let's switch feet all the way together. So, ball of the foot up, heel down, maybe step your outside foot forward, and from there, reach your arms up without lifting the ribs, and back down. Relax, clenching in your legs. Weight in the heels, but the front of your feet below your toes, gently press down. All right, and then from there, pigeon toe your foot. A little bit goes a long way sometimes. Reach your arms out to the side, straight relax thigh muscles. Left arm goes across and open. Right arm goes across and open. Left arm across and open. Right arm across and open. And then toes slightly turn out to the side, square your hips. Press down through the balls of the feet with the weight in your heels and circle your arms up and down. And circle up and down. And circle up and down. And circle up and down. Okay, let's practice more pelvic lifting, but on the floor. And by the way, if like for myself even, this block is kind of cushiony, and it's hard for me to stabilize myself, so I should probably be using my cork block for a while in practice before I come to the more cushiony block. So just consider that, maybe working on the floor or finding something harder for yourself to stand on, because you really want the body to progress slowly. And even myself, I catch myself, oh, I haven't been doing that a lot lately. Let me take a step back. Okay, but now with our feet straight, ankles hip distance, we're still going to work on the pressing down and hugging in action, and we're going to march in place. And you're trying to march in place without tucking your pelvis under. So keeping your buttocks sticking back, keeping your hip back over your ankle. Press down, hug the hip in, lift the leg up, and then go to the other side. Every time checking, are my feet straight? Are my ankles hip distance apart? And then straightening up your skull over your spine and breathing. So after a while, much less challenging to balance on a hard surface, which is why a little bit of texture under your foot is very good to challenge your muscles, because you're not always going to be balancing on something that's flat and hard. Okay, next time you balance on your left leg and lift your right knee up, how about point and flex, point and flex. Lower that foot down, press down through the right hip, hug it in, lift the left knee without tucking the pelvis under, and point and flex, point and flex, and then put that foot down. With your feet straight and your ankles hip distance apart, sit back into a chair pose and press up. Let's actually do this with a block. We did this a little last week. So if you're very narrow, if you have very narrow hips, probably the thinnest width. If you have about medium hip width, if you feel like your hips are very wide, you can do the widest width, but be careful. I often notice people going to the widest width and their hips are not as wide as they think they are. So it is possible if you're very curvy around your hips, you might want the widest width, but I'd say most people are probably gonna be more medium. And if the block doesn't feel comfortable, if you had something like a ball that you could put between your legs, that would be very helpful. Sit back into your chair squat and press up. Really sit your hips back and press up. 2 more like that. Sit your hips back and press up and sit your hips back. Take the block out either to the floor or your chair. Step your right leg way back into a lunge. Check your left foot. Does it need to straighten out? Straighten out your right foot. Lift up off of your heel and slowly lower your heel towards the floor. Lift up and slowly lower. Doesn't matter how low you go, your left knee stays stable. Lift up and slowly lower down and lift up and slowly lower down. Then lift up and push off the ball of the foot below your toes to step up. Sit your hips back, step your left leg back. Center the ball of your foot so your foot's not spinning one way or the other. And then we'll lift up and lower down. And press into the ball of the foot and lower slowly. And lift up and lower down. And lift up and lower down. And then this time when you lift up, push off the ball of that foot. Grab that block or whatever you're using, put it back between your knees. And then from here, when you stand up, make sure you don't thrust your pelvis forward. Hips over the heels, front of the foot active. Sit back to the right and press up to stand. Sit back to the left a little. Press up. Sit back to the right. Press up. Sit over to the left, press up. Sit back to the right and up. Sit back to the left and up. Sit back to the right and press up. Sit back to the left and press up. Now we're going back to center, but take the block out and put it anywhere. Sit back. Let your torso fold down with a flat back and come back up. Walk your feet out to 2. Sit your hips back. Let your torso fold down with a flat back. And then keep your hips low and just bring your torso upright. Walk your feet out to 3. Sit back in your hips. Let your torso go down. And then bring your torso back up, staying in the squat in your legs, and walk out to 4, wider. Sit your hips back, let your torso go down, and then just bring your torso up. Now with yourself in your squat and your torso up, elbows by your side, ribs relax down if they tend to thrust. Open and bring it in. And open and straight ahead. Open, straight ahead, open, straight ahead. Now straighten your legs with a wide stance. Check your weights in your heels. The front of your feet is pressing down. Is your pelvis tucked under? Is your pelvis untucked? Neutral pelvis, vertical, weight over the heels. And then from there, turn and look over your right shoulder and do that arm movement. Pause with your arms open, turn and look over your left shoulder, and continue with the arm movement. Relax, clenching around the thighs. Bring your head back to center, right ear to right shoulder. Now, if you start feeling the front of your legs clenching, what does that mean? That means your weight is drifting forward. Back your thigh bones up a little. Try to relax the front of your thighs a little. Ground through the back of the legs a little. And continue with your arm motion. Slowly bring your head up, left ear to left shoulder. Check in with the position of your legs, weight over the heels, and open and close. Good. Bring your head back up. Take your right arm up and over into a side bend. Turn your palm to face behind you. Tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend, tap, extend. Pull your torso up. Left arm goes up and over, palm faces behind you. Tap, extend. 2 more like that. Pull your torso up. Walk your feet in to 3. Take your right arm up, hand to the shoulder, ribs relax down. Open and curl in. Open, curl in. Open, curl in. Open, curl in. Check. Are your knees bending? Are the front of the legs clenching? Are the heels grounding down to the floor? Can you relax the front of the legs so the back of the legs can work a little more? Switch arms. Left arm goes forward, hand to the shoulder, ribs down as elbow goes up. Curl out and in. Curl out and in. Curl out and in. Curl out and in. Check the inner and outer thighs. Are they both reaching long? You can even feel like your lower legs are reaching down and your upper thighs are drawing up, or you can feel like they're all grounding down into the floor. Just feel activation without clenching, like your legs are supporting you. You're not just sinking into your joints. And then extend that arm, lower it down, walk into 2. Not quite hip distance apart yet. Reach your right arm forward, hand to the shoulder, elbow in. Pull that elbow gently back. Think ribs dropping down as your head and your elbows slide back. Great place to practice neutral rotation of the thigh bones. Relaxing, clenching around the buttocks muscles. And switch arms, pull back. Weight in the heels, ground through the balls of the feet. And release. Step your feet in hip distance apart. Step your right foot forward, your left foot back. Right foot forward, left arm, opposite arm goes into the air. Side bend over to the right. Come back up, interlace right pinky finger on the bottom, hands behind the head. Hinge back like you're looking at the ceiling. Can you stretch both legs straight? Bring your torso back up, open your arms, twist your belly button to your right. Unwind your waist, switch feet, left foot forward, right foot back, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Right arm goes up in the air, side bend to the left, lengthen through your 2 legs. Bring your hands behind your head, left pinky finger on top. Ribs relax down as you lean back and lengthen, especially that back leg. Breathing here. And bring your torso up, open your arms to the side, twist your belly button to the left. Feel the turn of the waist. Unwind your twist, lift off your back heel to step your foot forward, and then with your feet straight and your ankles hip distance apart, pelvic lifts, pressing down, hugging in, quad march. Bend your heel in, push down through the other side, hug the hip in. Breathing. Checking the position of your feet, checking the position of your ankles, and then focusing on keeping the weight back over the heel of your foot with the front of the foot gently grounding down. All right, next time your foot lifts behind you, point, flex, point, flex. Switch sides. Press down, hug the hip in, bend the knee behind you. Point, flex, point, flex. Lower that foot down. Put your hands on the chair, walk back, 2 straight arms, 2 straight legs, sit your hips back. Great time to check the angle of the feet, the ankles, the weight over the heels, the front of the feet grounding, thigh bones rotating into neutral. And come on up. Okay, you have 2 options. Option 1, which you might choose, especially if you know squatting lower doesn't happen easily in your body, is standing with your knees all the way against your chair and working on squatting back without your knees going past your ankles. We've done this over the last couple weeks, so this is a great way to practice getting your hips to go back a little bit more, to use more of the back of the legs when you're squatting. Option 2 is also going to work your triceps quite a bit. Sorry for that noise, but you're going to come feet straight, ankles hip distance, sit back on your chair, hold on to the side of the chair, and just because we're sitting doesn't mean this is the easier option. With your hands to the chair, slide to the very edge of the chair and let your hips drop off the chair a little bit, and then maybe just go up a little and down. So it's 2 things. It's a squat and a tricep where you're bending your elbows and straightening them as your hips go up. You don't have to go up and down very much. It can be a very small movement, but check, your ankles are under your knees, so your knees aren't going past your ankles. You're breathing. You're using your leg muscles here, so you're not just relying solely on your arms to support you. And let's do 2 more like that. And let me just show you from the side version. So just in case you're wondering what we were doing there. You're on the very edge of your chair and you just scoot your hips off and maybe let them drop down a little and lift up a little. You can go lower, or you can stick with a higher version where you just go down a little bit and come up, and down a little bit and come up, and then slide your hips back onto your chair. Okay, from there, let's spin around into a lunge to your right. Slide your left knee back, go nice and slow, and lift and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and hold, backing the thigh bone up. Point, flex, point, flex. Slide the leg forward, extend, and hinge forward. Nice long spine. Untwist the ankle, breathing. And come up and slide that leg back and spin around to the other side. So knee slides back underneath the hip, and then from there, spine upright, lift and tap, lift and tap, lift and tap, and lift and tap, lift and hold, slide the thigh bone back, breathing, point, flex, point, flex, slide the knee forward, extend the leg long, flex the ankle and hinge forward, working on moving more from the pelvis and less from the spine, more from the pelvis. Breathing. When you move more from the pelvis, you'll start to, over time, get a lot more contact with your buttocks muscles as well, which is so important for the whole body. Those buttocks muscles are some of the biggest muscles in your body, and they are meant to support a lot. And if they don't have range of motion, they can't support as much. All right, come on up, bend that knee, spin back around to the front of the chair. Sitting up nice and tall, we hold a side bend. And just breathing. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down, lengthen and feel. And to the other side. Pelvis upright, ribs relax down, lengthen and feel. And you can keep your arm rotated down. I'm just turning mine so I can see how much time we're spending here. And pull yourself up. All right, hands behind your head and tilt your pelvis upright. Look back, open your chest. Make sure you feel very supported around your neck and breathing here. Bring your torso upright, reach your arms out to the side, twist your belly button to the right, reach out through your upper arm bones and hold here. And rotate your belly button to the other side and hold here. Reach out through your upper arm bones. Check the tilt of your pelvis, the tilt of your rib cage. Head gently ramping back. Five more seconds. Turn from just the waist a little bit more. Legs are steady and stable. And unwind and extend your legs long. Flex your ankles actively. Hinge forward with a flat spine. Long neck. And breathing here. So in particular today, we're not rounding our spine. We're trying to keep our spine nice and flat and long and lengthening our legs a little bit more. And if you tend to feel discomfort in your lower back, in your SI joint area, this is the version that you want to work on more often. Most of us slouch around on couches and in chairs, so it's probably the version most of us want to work on more often. And come upright and sit all the way back in your chair. And let your gaze soften or your eyes gently close and become very present with your body and with your breath. Stay present with your body and your breath. Trust the process of growth. Be patient with yourself. It takes time to work out issues, to work through things. It takes time to learn lessons. The more important the lesson, the longer the cycle to work it out and work it through. We may live in a technical age, but our souls and our bodies aren't technical. They're still connected to nature. We grow and change as nature does. Learn her ways, study her seasons and cycles, and know those same seasons and cycles are in each of us. The process of change is like planting a seed and watching it grow and bloom into a flower. What are you trying to develop? A project, a change in yourself? Is there something new you're trying to learn? Are you trying to adjust to a major change in your life? Is there an old habit you're struggling to let go of? A love relationship or friendship you're hoping to begin or end? Each stage of the process of growth and change is important. From those first moments when we see the idea or the change begins, to those long moments of nurturing and nourishing the idea. Each stage counts. Is there a change in your life that's begun, one you've started to notice? Are you thinking about it a lot, talking about it, but not quite ready to take action? That stage is important too. You're nurturing and nourishing the seeds of change. It takes time for nature to change things into what they're becoming. It takes time for things to develop. Be patient with yourself and your life. Trust the process of growth. Bringing our hands together at heart center in a gesture of gratitude for this day. Namaste.